Bruins and Blues, David Capuano, former NHL player, in studio now, and I don't think any of us projected a 7-2 victory last night, but it counts the same, 7-2 or 3-2. You've probably been on both sides, big wins, big losses by that sort of score. How do you just put that away if you're the Blues, focus on the task at hand, and if you're the Bruins, not get caught up in the big win?
Well, I think the big problem for the Blues is they know it is discipline. I mean, that's the problem. They can get by the game, but if they keep putting the Bruins in the power play, this series is going to be over in 5.
Right.
The Bruins are almost 50% on the power play. The PK is 95%.
Yep.
I mean, they're killing them in special teams. And I don't know why St. Louis continues to want to play this way, and I don't think they have to play this way. They have to play physical, but they can't keep putting themselves in a disadvantage like this.
We're talking off camera about the goaltender, Jordan Binnington. Obviously, he was pulled. What is his psyche going in to Game 4 after that performance?
I mean, I've been impressed with him the whole season, from when he started to now, and I think he's got a huge compete level. I don't think it's going to bother him. I think they're going to come right back with him, and I think he'll be fine. I think that more of a problem is that St. Louis has to stay out of the penalty box.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you score on every power play, how do you keep up with that? All right, the top line, everyone was getting on them for their production in games 1 and 2. They had a good night last night. If those guys are rolling now and they're still getting goals from Kourakis, and I know Achari's was an empty netter, but the Charlie Coyles of the world, how dynamic is this Bruins offense right now if everyone's clicking?
From the start, what's impressed me is the Coyle line.
Yeah.
And that Coyle line's been consistent every single game, and they're not scoring, they're getting huge chances. So I think that the Pasternak line and the Marchand line, seems like on the road in the playoffs, they've been much more settled down. They shoot the puck more, and I think they get more chances. I don't know, I think at home sometimes you get the hype, you get a lot of pressure at home, and I think they've been better on the road.
I know I keep asking you before every game, how big is this game, how big is this game? But if the Bruins go up 3-1 and take both in St. Louis, is this series over?
I don't. It's hard to say any series is over. I mean, we've seen 3-0 leads years ago get blown, but I think the Bruins have so much experience that if they get up that third game, then they go back to Boston. You know, St. Louis has been huge on the road.
Yeah.
So it's a tough series to judge. It's almost like both teams are better on the road.
And you go back to that first round series, the Bruins were down 3-2 and won in Toronto and then won at home. But have you seen enough through 3 games to positively say the Bruins are the better team?
I think they're the more skilled team, and I think absolutely they got more depth. I think Oscar Sundqvist being out last night was a huge loss for St. Louis. Number one, he's their best penalty killer, and number two, I think he creates offense on depth on that fourth line.
Yeah.
So I think it was overlooked at how important he was to be out of that game last night.
And I know you were saying last night how well Tuukka played in the early going, managing the craziness of that game in St. Louis, first time in 49 years. He sort of went under the radar last night, but he was a star for you.
He was. I mean, I said it on set last night, the first 10, 15 minutes, he had to make that big save. And I think Sharrett said it today. He's playing with so much confidence, playing the best hockey of his life, and he made the first 2 or 3 big saves last night. Boston settled in, and I think that turned the game around.
All right, how do you see this game going tomorrow night?
Oh, again, I don't. If St. Louis continues to take penalties and continues to try to beat up the Bruins, I think the Bruins will outscore them on the power play and penalty kill.
There you have it. So they got to stay out of the box, or it'll be all Bruins Monday night. All right, we'll see you for our pregame show, 7 o'clock on Monday, and we'll have much more.